3 ways to master the art of detachment. These are things that will help you no matter what you're trying to do in your life, whether it's professional, it's personal, it's spiritual. You can apply this across the board. Before we get started though, let's get one thing very, very clear so that we're on the same foundation as we talk about detachment. And the most important thing I can tell you about detachment is that it is not about going cold. It is not about being cool about the things you want. It is also not the opposite of that, where you get extremely passionate, you get extremely carried away with the dreams and desires and goals that you have, that you forget to take action, or you get too attached to taking action where you're not able to take rest. So the core foundational level here is that we're going to work through how to create healthy detachment so that you are at peace to create, to attract, and then to up level when the time comes. Here's the thing. Cold, we don't want cold, and passionate, we don't want extreme passion as well. We somewhere want to play in the middle somewhere, but also in a way that feels good to us, and it's our own signature across it. So here's the principles that I have been using over the last maybe 16 or 17 years, which has propelled not only the way I live, the choices I've made by quitting corporate America more than like 8 or 9 years ago. And, even just making that decision 9 years ago wasn't a thing. People didn't leave their jobs then. But to be able to do that like comfortably and with a little bit of naivete at that time, it still played out for me. And beyond that, it's also helped me become more conscious about the way I carry myself in the world, but also the friendships I have become more profound, more deeper, and more engaged, and perhaps even more intimate, because there's truth and there is a true sort of connection with the person, that you're not really thinking about just having fun constantly without feeling like your soul is slowly depleting being around certain people. So let's get going. The first principle I'll teach you here is one mindset shift or hack or whatever you want to call it that's helped me, is this idea that I am work in progress. No matter what I do across the board, I am a work in progress. When I put my mind into that headspace and heart space, what it helps me do is understand that because I'm a work in progress, there is nothing to chase. There is nowhere to go. There is nothing to worry about, because if I'm a work in progress, it is unfolding. It is taking its time to find me. And therefore, in that, I'm good, right? So when you keep this mindset of, it's not just being a beginner, but it is more that you keep this idea that there's a cosmic cleanliness around you and your energy for things to flow toward you. It is so, so important to not think about perfection. It is so important to think about incremental progress. It is important to think about how we're showing up in the world versus constantly being focused on our dreams and our desires. Because guess what? Any moment, anything could change. But what helps move that change forward is usually this idea that you have stayed in a certain energetic frequency long enough for those things to come toward you. So when you're in the energy of receiving, when you're in the energy of, hey, I want to attract X, Y, and Z because this has been a predominant desire of mine, and you stay in that head space and heart space, you are clearing up the field around you to bring those things toward you. Now, those can happen in conversations. It can happen in someone seeing you at the grocery store and they're like, wow, I love your energy. What do you do? And it sparks a conversation. So you just don't know who's listening, where the next inspiration could come from, or the next idea could come from, especially if you're in the creative space. And if you're an entrepreneur, it's not just about idea. It could just be how you can up-level a service for one of your clients, or you come up with a suggestion for your business that people receive really well, and they're like, oh, we would love to build on this. Or you have partnerships and proposals and collaborations come through your way. And a lot of this work, this art of detachment, the work is inner work, and it will always be an inside job. And no matter how far you get, no matter how well you do, you will constantly need to put this mindset, this idea, this psychological hack of sorts into play no matter what. So always think about yourself from the perspective of this idea that I am a work in progress. The second thing that has helped me tremendously, and I don't like this word, but I'm going to use it, is that I try to stay as busy as I can. And what I mean by that is when I know I want something, or I'm trying to create something, I'm trying to bring a different experience into my human life, right? My human journey. One of the things I do tend to do is remind myself that I need a way in which I'm going to move throughout my day, because that also reduces the anxiety you feel when you're in the waiting room of the universe. So when you're waiting, you're just like, your mind is constantly going there, like as if something's not happened, right? You don't want that energy. What you really want is like flowing, clean, fluid energy, so that things beyond your imagination can find you. They're like, oh, I want to be around this person, this energy, right? So the way I handle this and take this, if it works for you, is I know that during my given day, I have my set things to do. I'll wake up in the morning. I have to do my meditation. I have to do my this. I have to do my, physical health stuff, which is sometimes the gym, sometimes it's a yoga class at home. And I just find videos which I've already saved and I put them up the night before so I don't have to, look around to get started. So I stay in that space where I have enough breaks during my day and I am able to kind of keep my mind occupied in the pursuit of whatever it is that I need to do to continue moving on a day-to-day basis. Because guess what? Your movement, your momentum also attracts things toward you. If you're in a constant state of inertia and you're in a constant state of stress, it is not supporting you. It will never, ever, ever support you, that type of mindset. So even if you have a full-time job, you know that you're going to be at the job till like 8 p.m. But when you come back, you got to switch that switch off and go back into dream state if you need to, or imagine, that life that you're wanting to, experience and manifest is coming toward you. So you reduce more pressure from you, right? So when you're saying to yourself, you're a work in progress, and the second thing you do while you're saying you're a work in progress is managing your time well. You're managing your day well by being busy, right? By keeping your mind occupied, by letting your mind do what the mind needs to do, so that it's not, going into the monkey brain of constantly like trying to create and stress and worry and just go in all these directions that your mind does not need to do, because you're going to exhaust yourself that way and you're going to have no energy to even think about your future or plan for your upcoming, growth or your desires to come towards you. So you don't want to keep your mind cluttered. You want your mind to keep moving, and to keep your mind disciplined, you have to be disciplined. You have to have a routine that helps you no matter where you are in life. Till you have your ideal way of living, you will have to create a routine that works for you, for where you are, while keeping your eyes and heart very, focused in the direction of where you want to go. All right. And then the last thing, as you're thinking about this art of detachment, and these are 3, I try to keep most of these lessons to 3. There can be more, and I will always share that with you, as bonus thoughts. But I like to keep things to threes because it's easier for you to retain. And I want it to be practical for you so that you're able to go apply it, you're able to go create based off of that, and you get some peace of mind that there's somebody out there on the internet who feels what you feel or has been through what you've been through. And I don't want to overwhelm it by giving you 10 things to do. All right. And the last thing you can do, right? Work in progress, busyness of the mind, meaning you've given your mind something to focus on, especially if you're occupied. And the third and the most important is something I've had to work on my entire life and continue to, is to regulate your emotions and to manage your nervous system as a result of regulating your emotions. It is so easy. Oh gosh, it is so easy to go from, I want all of these things and they're not here right now. Oh my God, this person has it. I have already tried before. I haven't done well. Your mind, your mind has so much history. It will go back like that, right? That's the one thing you don't want your mind to have the option to do. So what I would suggest is watch your emotions, see where you're expending them. If you're around people that drain you, find ways to back out of those social commitments. If you find that it is not doable because these are your co-workers, then I would say create energetic boundaries so that you're not overgiving. And the other thing you also have to learn to do is, especially if you're an empath or a highly sensitive person and you're very creative by nature, you're able to read people's emotions maybe way better than they can read them. So my suggestion to you will always be that don't go into their world, because you can see everything through them. You can see their dysfunction, right? And you're not supposed to fix that dysfunction. Just recognize it and sidestep. Do what you need to do till you can do what you want to do, right? And so that way, when you come home as well, especially if you're in a full-time employment, when you come home, then you have the space where you're not thinking about all of this stuff, right? Like you're not worried about X, Y, and Z. You've not brought that energy home. Your home, your space, your living space, even if it's one bedroom, okay, that's your sanctuary. That's your place of peace. That's your place where other thoughts should not enter you other than your own, where you are feeling uplifted, where you're feeling nurtured, and your emotions are at your own, sort of beck and call. And this is where you may get some time to work on yourself and your emotions as well. And every time you go into these interactions where you may think like, I didn't do that perfectly, I should have done it this way, whatever it is, just take note of it. Do not make things more difficult for yourself. Make note of it. Okay, next time this happens, this is what I'm going to react with, or this is what I'm going to say. And I know someone's listening to this and saying, holy shit, that's a lot. No, it is a little bit in the beginning, but eventually it will become so organic for you. You will already read into people's energy the moment they open their mouths, or sometimes some of us can read people's energies as soon as they walk through the door without them opening their mouth. So you have to trust your gut, you have to trust your feelings, and you have to know that those feelings are obviously not final, but you have to manage them because those feelings give rise to emotions. And your emotions going unchecked, especially if you're on the path of creation, creativity, or you're trying to build something new for yourself, you have literally no room to mess with your own self that is trying to emerge. Your future self is knocking on the door right now and is just like, what are you doing? Why are we in this loop? Why are we doing things the way we've been doing them? And you recognize them, and then you put a plan in place so that you can change those things for yourself. And it will not always be easy. Sometimes you have to work after work. If it is, you're trying to develop a skill of some sort, or you're trying to move cities or countries, you'll have to spend time thinking about those very things and coming up with a game plan. So managing that emotion that is coming from the I don't have it is the most important thing. And where most people get messy is thinking I'm not supposed to feel anything, which is what I said at the beginning. You are allowed to feel things, because if you don't feel the things that your body is trying to communicate to you, that helplessness, that sadness, that lack of joy, you losing your spark, all of those things that your body is literally sending you signals for repeatedly, then you're just teaching your own self to ignore you. And you'll end up putting yourself on the back burner because you will prioritize other people and their dreams and their hopes and their desires instead of your own. So the idea is to shift our focus to us. And it may be one of those things where you're like, that sounds selfish. Sometimes you have to be a little self-centered. Sometimes you have to learn that, because we often find ourselves in these types of situations because we did not put ourselves first. And we need to, especially on the path of change and this path of spiritual expansion. You cannot put yourself last. But you also know you're not that important in the grand scheme of things. That's the spiritual paradox. To know you have cosmic energy in you, you're in the shape of God, whatever your belief systems are. And on the flip side of all of that, to also know you're human and you're here to experience something. And so I would say don't deprive yourself of abundance, of experiences, even if they're not always the most pleasant ones. Eventually they bring about great things. So I would say please don't deprive yourself of those, and don't always look for like a very singular type of experience, like I only want to feel good. Some of you who will be on this, who are listening to this, are naturally inclined for depth. You're naturally inclined to not be superficial. That's why we are talking about being above the noise here. We're not playing that game that the mainstream plays. You're here because you understand something needs to change. You need maybe a word of reassurance. Hopefully you found one during this conversation we're having. Even though I can't see you, I know. But it is a conversation, And so just be gentle with yourself through all of this. And this art of detachment will propel you in ways that you can't even imagine. It really has for me as well, when I didn't think too much about how something would come about and just knew that I want these things and I want to experience this type of a life. I am location independent and have been for about 8 years or so. I run my own consulting firm, which is filled with clients who are amazing, phenomenal humans who are building cool things to help themselves and their communities and the world at large. Well, I travel quite a bit. I get to spend time with people I love, and I get to create like this and share what I know. I don't know everything, of course, but I can share with you what my journey was and how it changed for me when my spiritual sort of awareness or my antennas shot up was maybe 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. We'll talk about that as we go along, and I'll share my journey with you on that front too. But being nomadic for the last 9-ish years has taught me so much. And I'm telling you, every part of every dream and every desire that you have is completely possible to attain. So with that outlook, understand that while you know everything is possible, and I'm telling you everything is possible, whatever you wish for is possible, the next thing you need to do is understand this art of detachment. So 3 things, right? I'm a work in progress. I'm keeping my mind occupied by doing the things required to eat well, to sleep well, to create well, right? To work well if I'm in a 9-to-5. I have a routine, I have self-discipline, and I embody that. And the third thing you have to say is, I am in charge of my emotions. I am learning myself. I'm learning the things that are not in my best interest. That's it. That's the work. Hey, if this served you some way, just share, comment if you can. I always like meeting new people and hearing people's stories. One thing you will find is whenever you're on this in the space, it's always going to be quiet. It's a quiet nook, and just I hope you get to meet good people here, because if you're gravitating toward this and you've listened to any part of this, I'm sure you'll meet other people who are very much like you in the comment section. And also, please always ask me questions, and if there are videos you want me to talk about certain topics around spirituality, entrepreneurship, or living a creative life, any of these things, and the travels I've had, which I will share with you as well, please ask away. Please ask. And in the meantime, stay phenomenal, stay fantastic, be good to yourself, and it's always possible. It's always possible. Take care and stay elevated. Bye.